Good morning, everyone. My name is Tom King. I'm the Managing Director of Football Administration for the United States Soccer Federation, and I'm very honored to be here to chat a little bit about our bid for 2026. Thank you for coming. I know some of you may have heard John Christick's presentation by video link yesterday, and I'm here to give a little bit more detail and share some more insight on why we think we've got a great bid to welcome the world in 2026. So thank you for the opportunity for me to join you today and share information about the United bid. Let's start this with a very brief video presentation.
One event. 3 nations. A world of opportunity.
There's quite a bit of room out here.
We may speak different languages and embrace different cultures, but in soccer, we find common ground. This is the game that inspires billions of hopes and dreams. It's the biggest pilgrimage of sports fans on earth, with half the world watching closely. And in 2026, it will be bigger than ever. As Canada, Mexico, and the USA, let's rise to the challenge and honor of staging this great event. We have the stadiums. We have the infrastructure. We can show the world what it means to be united. By working together to offer a blueprint for future events, by delivering the first 48-nation World Cup. Drawing on our culture, our talent, and our shared sense of purpose, we can showcase what our nations, cities, and communities can achieve. Connecting with fans in new ways and creating a lasting soccer legacy. Looking forward while giving back.
Brilliant ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's on the blind side of the defense, and through the keeper's legs!
This is our time to inspire, to transform, to overcome adversity, to build something that will be remembered for generations. We are already working together towards this single goal. Our desire to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup, united as one.
Our vision is simple. We believe that we offer the unity, the certainty, and the opportunity that the first ever 48-country FIFA World Cup demands, and we're excited to welcome the world to our countries. We believe the United bid can deliver football for all. Our bid is an example of the unity that football provides the world. We're united as North Americans. Our United bid is historic, the first time that 3 nations have come together in a bid to host the FIFA World Cup. This reflects the shared values and cultures and the unity of 3 peoples, nearly 500 million strong. We're united as members of CONCACAF, the Confederation of North, Central American and Caribbean Association Football. By 2026, it will have been more than 3 decades since CONCACAF has hosted the FIFA World Cup. We're united as members of a global football family. As the world's largest sporting event, the World Cup shows the power of football to unify people across countries and cultures. In these challenging times, football reminds us of the common values of humanity, friendship, and mutual respect that unite us as fellow human beings. This unity is reflected in our incredible diversity. Our 3 countries are home to more than 200 ethnic groups, more than 300 languages, and immigrant communities from all over the world. In other words, our countries and host cities will embrace every visiting team. In a very real sense, every game will feel like a home game. That's real unity. Our bid offers certainty, the experience, the infrastructure, and the resources that the 2026 FIFA World Cup will demand. 2026 will be the largest World Cup ever. It will be an unprecedented endeavor. It will need to be executed flawlessly. It won't be a time to take risks, to worry whether stadiums, training facilities, and hotels will be ready. We have modern, large capacity stadiums. We offer 23 cities that will compete to be the final 16 host cities. And all of them have world-class stadiums and a proven track record of successfully hosting the world's largest international sporting events. The average capacity across all stadiums is over 68,000 seats, with 7 stadiums exceeding 75,000 seats. It's access to public transportation, state-of-the-art amenities, and an average of 9,500 luxury suite and box seating per stadium. Iconic Fan Fest locations. We'll work with FIFA to reimagine the fan experience, including Fan Fests in every host city and others across our 3 nations. And we'll throw the biggest party the world has ever seen. We have more than 150 training site and base camp options ready to go. We see certainty for the players. Our state-of-the-art stadiums and facilities will allow players to put their focus where it should be, on delivering their best performance on the pitch. Our bid offers low risk and operational certainty, with huge upside for FIFA and our fellow member associations. Our candidate host cities will offer world-class infrastructure, airports, transportation, hotels, security, technology, and more. They have the full support of local and federal government and a wealth of major events hosting experience. Our bid offers proven experience. Together, our 3 countries have successfully hosted 13 FIFA World Cups, men, women, and youth. Finally, our bid offers an opportunity for FIFA to stage a spectacular tournament that optimizes the value of FIFA's biggest asset and delivers unprecedented benefits to member associations, large and small. We see the opportunity for record revenues. We anticipate sold-out stadiums for every match and an expected 5.8 million tickets sold, with ticketing revenues of more than $2.1 billion. That would be a new record. We see an opportunity for new commercial success. North America is the world's largest sports market, with over $70 billion of revenue last year alone. So we see 2026 as a chance to introduce FIFA to potential partnerships that can generate new resources for the global game. We have hosted major events with record-breaking success. In 2014, over 109,000 attended a friendly match between Manchester United and Real Madrid at Michigan Stadium. In 2015, Canada broke all records for ticket sales and revenue for a FIFA Women's World Cup. In 2016, the United States hosted the highest attended Copa America in 100 years, with 1.5 million attendees. Attendance at Major League Soccer matches in the US now exceed that of the National Basketball Association and the National Hockey League. Fans from the US have purchased more tickets to the FIFA World Cup in Russia than any other country outside of Russia. Liga MX, now in its 75th year, frequently has attendances exceeding 60,000 for its biggest league matches. And supporters groups continue to grow across the continent. The members can be best described as young, diverse, multinational, and global. Television viewership records with CONCACAF continue to be broken, and we are bullish on the future given the youthfulness of our fan base and throughout our region. We see the opportunity to inspire the next generation of players, just as past World Cups have done, and bring in new players and grow the game at the grassroots in Canada, Mexico, the United States, across CONCACAF, and around the world. We see opportunity to help FIFA advance its FIFA Forward vision so that more of the success of the World Cup is shared with and invested in all member associations and the 6 confederations in every corner of the world. And we see the opportunity to help FIFA create a new legacy, a new template for the expanded World Cup format that can help shape the future of football for the century to come. This includes advancing the FIFA 2.0 reforms, upholding the integrity of the game, and the highest standards of transparency, human rights, and environmental sustainability. We are here because we are committed to communicating directly to every member association. We're not taking any vote for granted, and we're going to keep working very hard for every single vote, right up until the election on June 13 in Moscow. Canada, Mexico, and the United States are honored and humbled to put forth this historic united bid. We believe a united bid can deliver football for all. Thank you again for your time this morning. We all look forward to seeing you soon in North America. If I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to give it my best.
I'm Ayer Leonardo. I'm actually based in Atlanta. I'm here with the Football Business Academy.
Great.
Everything that you mentioned there, I'm part of it. I'm a founding member of the Atlanta United. I've been to most of the games at this point, and we see the value of all that you have displayed. What would you identify as potential threats and something that would take that bid would face as a challenge to be successful?
Sure. I think from the standpoint of, well, there's two things. One is sort of continental rotation, that we feel very strongly that it's CONCACAF's turn. By the time 2026 rolls around, Europe would have hosted it 2 or 3 times, Asia would have hosted it a couple of times, Africa would have hosted it 1 time. So we feel that this is, the timing is right for us. However, we understand that that's not how it works. We appreciate that it's 211 votes, and we've got to get half of those plus 1. And that's all to be determined on June the 13th. We don't take anything for granted. I think our competitors have a fantastic bid. It's a fantastic country. They have fantastic resources, and they would pull off a really great World Cup. There's no question. They've bid 4 or 5 times. We have bid and failed in 2018, 22. So we hope that balances it all out. I think in terms of the major threat to our bid, it remains to be seen. We have to go out there and not take a single thing for granted. We're ready to host the World Cup tomorrow. We've got the facilities. We don't have to build anything. It's a very, very low-risk situation for FIFA. After a couple of cycles that in some respects maybe seemed to be arguably risky in the next 2 locations of the World Cup, we hope that we could be a safe haven to rebuild the foundation of the World Cup for FIFA, given the circumstances that it's a 48-team event.
I'm Tim Payton from Sports Communications. I asked the question of someone who's visited as a fan for World Cups. And what I've always really enjoyed is the cultural experience that you go to a country and a country stamps its ethos and its culture on that. How are you going to get that when you're in 3 countries? And as fans, are you going to offer anything like free travel, like I think Russia is offering? Because that's a huge continent there, and I worry that it will be too dispersed maybe to give that real cultural aspect for visiting supporters of what the tournaments have been like in the past.
Sure, that's a fair comment. Yes, in terms of total distance from the most northern venue to the most southern venue is a lot. One concept is that Canada would play all their games in Canada. In the first round, Mexico would play their games in Mexico in the first round, and then everything would be then consolidated in the United States. Once it's consolidated, the travel around the country is somewhat comparable to Brazil. And in some cases, when you go from Kaliningrad to Ekaterinburg in Russia, it's a pretty long flight. So coast to coast in the United States, just a little bit more than those 2 extremes in Russia. Our team was based in Sao Paulo, where we flew to Manaus, we flew to Recife, we flew to Natal. These were 3-hour flights every time. So I don't think it's an extraordinary extra amount of travel for the teams. And from the standpoint of the consolidation of the event after the second round in the United States was done for one reason more than any other, and that is to focus on the player and make sure that the player is not overtaxed with travel. So there will be a consolidation of the tournament in the later stages in the United States, which would cut down travel. To answer your question with regards to the cultural experiences, fans will be coming to 3 countries, but they're coming to hundreds of countries, because the United States is such a massive melting pot that you can experience every culture while you're there. So we think that the whole concept of the European-style World Cup, where the fans get to go see their favorite team, catch another game on TV, sit at a sidewalk cafe till 1 o'clock in the morning drinking beer and having a great time, we're going to deliver that, no problem whatsoever.
My name is Bumi Janadu, and I'm with United Soccer Africa. First and foremost, I want to commend you guys for putting together your package for the bid book. You know, I read 580 pages worth of it. You know, so it's very commendable. My question to you is, it's united as one bid. Recently, Boston Consultant Group did an economic impact study on the direct and indirect impact for the World Cup. It's going to be about $5 billion. Now, the Caribbean nations that are part of the CONCACAF, I know you're depending on their vote, but they're not part of the United as One, but they need money as far as infrastructure and what have you. How are you going to make this equitable to them as far as reaching out to them, you know, because obviously some of the votes are going to be divided, and, you know, you're still looking towards for their vote. And, you know, if I was in the shoes of maybe a St. Kitts or Jamaica, obviously I would love, you know, to vote, you know, for the United bid. But what is in it for me, and how is that sustainable for the development of soccer in my country and in my region? Because as it stands, if I was going to do a friendly match, you know, organize a friendly match between the United States and Jamaica or St. Kitts, you know, I can't even afford plane tickets, you know, for them to come to the U.S. However, you know, I can, you know, collectively say, you know what, we need to vote for America, you know, because, you know, X, Y, and Z. So if you can explain that, you know, I think, you know, that you know, it will shed light on how, you know, we can, as a united, that's truly united, and that's truly certainty, and that is truly the opportunity that is across the board.
Sure.
Is that a fair question?
It's a very fair question, and well articulated. Thank you. The financial model will evolve and will change as we get to the 2026 World Cup. You already start to see that evolution with regards to the current World Cup and then the one in Qatar, and then ultimately 2026 when we expand to 48 teams. The financial model will change. I would answer your question in two parts. Number one, we would hope that St. Kitts and Antigua and Barbuda and Jamaica would all feel a sense of regional pride that the World Cup would come to the CONCACAF region. All of our 30-plus member associations, we meet regularly. There is a friendship, there is a bond there. We would certainly hope, if one does not vote for the U.S. bid, the United bid, then we have to respect that decision. But we don't anticipate that happening. We think we have a very strong nucleus within CONCACAF, and we'll be united with respect to the bidding process and the voting process. From a financial standpoint, it's very hard to say that whether it's hosted in one confederation versus another confederation, that confederation that wins the bid would be better off than the one that doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it's FIFA's money. And we would hope that countries all over the world would benefit from hosting the event in Mexico, Canada, and the United States by sheer virtue of the revenue potential that we provide. This is going to provide so much more cash influx into FIFA's coffers that we would hope would then spread out to all 211 member associations. It's not within our philosophy to say we've got to win it for CONCACAF because then we'll have more money for our 30-plus national associations than they will in CAF or they will in Asia. That's not how it works. We're part of a much broader world community of football that, you know, the whole is, you know, greater than the sum of the parts. And if FIFA has a massive whole, everybody benefits from that. So we don't think of this as let's get it for CONCACAF because our coffers will be flowing and we can do more development within our region. That's FIFA's. This is FIFA's event, and it's their opportunity to do very well financially to then spread the wealth across 211 national associations.
Hi, I'm Dan Martin. I'm with AFP News Agency. I'm not sure if this is really an issue, but I'm just wondering, are there any indications at all that the state of relations between the current U.S. government and some of its neighbors in the region may somehow have some bearing on how the bid may play out, or how hosting of the, I know it's far in the future, but I'm just wondering if that's on your radar at all, for the Trump administration, some of the frictions that it has with its neighbors?
Sure. Yeah, I can only say that the relationship between the three federations within the United Bid could not be closer. It's a very respectful, intense working environment across all three national associations to make sure that our bid is as strong as it can possibly be. We don't get caught up in that question. We don't get caught up in that concern. Our concern is to put forward the very best package for FIFA, for the players, for the fans, for the broadcasters, for the sponsors, for the family members of the players. That's our remit, is to move forward with a fantastic proposal. And we hope that the 211 member associations of FIFA will judge the merits of Morocco's bid and the United bid purely on their merits and not on the political overtures of the moment. That is an area that we push off to the side. We're about planning the greatest party in the history of sport, and we want to do it right in 2026. And the political overtures that currently cloud the marketplace right now, that's for another discussion. Yep, not bothered by it at all.
Hello, my name is John Barry. I'm a football commentator and work for BBTV, mainly focus on the CSL, also Champions League. As a football fan, we know that the United States and Mexico, we often see them in the World Cup. But how is Canada's football? Because as I know, the last time they played in the World Cup was 1986, right? So do Canadian football fans, they are afraid that the national team, they finish the group stage and they go home? Because we Chinese, that's why we China we haven't a plan for the World Cup. To hold the World Cup.
Yep.
So how well is the Canadian football now?
Sure. Well, clearly, if the bid is successful and 2026 comes to North America, it gives the Canadian National Association, U.S. Soccer, and the Mexican Federation plenty of time to make sure that their teams are prepared. It wouldn't be the first World Cup where a team that's hosting didn't do well overall in the tournament. But I can't really see that happening. I think the resources that are being provided to the Canadian national team are pretty substantial. And the fact that a lot of their best players are now playing in Major League Soccer, where we have Canadian teams as part of the league, within the next 8 years, this is going to continue to grow, and the standard of football in Canada will continue to rise. With regards to the motives for Canada, the US, and Mexico to individually go forward as part of this bid, everybody has a different approach. I would say from the standpoint of Canada, the national team program, as you have suggested, really is a major objective for them to really boost the senior men's national team success. In the United States, it's a little bit different. We want to have another explosion of youth development that we experienced right after the 1994 World Cup. Our player registrations in the U.S. expanded 33%, and now those kids are forming a much larger base of players that we will ultimately select for national team experience down the road. And then from the standpoint of Mexico, football in Mexico is just plain and simply a religion, and they desperately want to be the first country in the world to host 3 World Cups. It would be an incredible honor for Mexico to do that. So all 3 countries have slightly different motives for wanting to do this, but collectively, overall, we think we can make a massive contribution to FIFA by hosting the matches in 2026 in North America.
Dan Connolly from Consul Sport. How was the inspection visit last week?
It went very well. It's FIFA don't at the end of the tour say how everything went, because they have to now come to Morocco and do the same thing. But logistically, operationally, We wanted to make sure that the inspectors knew our program moving forward and why we're in this. The unity, certainty, and opportunity is really something that transcends everything that we do. And we want to make sure that once the 211 member associations sit down in Moscow to make the vote, that they truly understand what those three components really mean. That we provide, a broad base of positive things to grow the sport in our country and to grow the sport throughout the region, and to ultimately help FIFA put on a great World Cup. So they didn't give us a grade at the end of the tour, but they didn't complain either. So it was a very successful week. We were very happy with it. Yep. Well, thank you all very much.